Deloitte predicts that in 2013, over 90% of Fortune 500 companies will be deploying enterprise social networks. These are internal tools that are designed to foster collaboration, communication, and knowledge sharing among employees. But the more important part of our prediction is that although the networks will be deployed, they will not be that well utilized. About 30 to 40% of employees where registration is required won't even register, and of the ones who do register, another 40 to 50% will neither post very often or even read other people's comments when they are sent out.
That sounds, on the face of it, a little disappointing. But now, how does that compare to other social networks?
We've actually had internal enterprise collaboration tools for years. Some of the earlier ones were called intranets. In fact, the rates of usage we are seeing from enterprise social networks look very, very similar to those existing enterprise tools. There's also consumer social networks, short message ones, social ones with pictures. We all know who those are. Once again, the active population seems to be a relatively small minority. It appears that there may be natural ceilings to people who want to participate on a social network.
And just looking at that active population, what is the makeup of that population? Is it certain types of workers? Is it certain age groups of workers?
It appears generally that it's not what you might think. There's almost an expectation of this is a new thing. Therefore, perhaps younger demographics are more into using the enterprise social network. That appears not to be true. In one survey, the 40 to 49-year-olds were in fact 100% more likely than 20 to 29-year-olds to make posts or to comment. So it appears that a simple demographic slice is not representative. There's also very high variation between countries. Some cultures appear more likely to use enterprise social network tools than others.
So how should organizations encourage usage of enterprise social networks?
Some of it's obvious, how-to guides, demonstrating some successful examples of it, but probably the single biggest factor is integrating it into existing business processes. Let's think about email for a second. When I want to send somebody a word processing document, I don't need to go from one application to another. I just clip and attach. That way it's existed into the flow of information that people are already using. That appears to be one of the biggest things that will drive usage.
Now, we started off the prediction with a lot of the metrics around usage, and they look quite low, but what do you think should be the real metrics that we have?
I think it's important for organizations to think about this as it's a relatively low-cost tool. Many of these are in fact free for the base level. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Therefore, if even 2, 3, 4, 5% more of your workers are using it and sharing knowledge, collaborating, exchanging information, that's almost certainly a positive ROI. But most importantly, I think you have to look at it as it is yet another tool. It is not a panacea that is useful and gets rid of every other communication solution you have. It's one more tool that people can use to increase knowledge sharing within organizations.
Thank you very much, Duncan. Now, we produce predictions using lots of different ways of communicating, and I'm sure enterprise social networks will add to the mix that we have for next year.